So I keep seeing these stories being linked. And while we're talking about Isak, let's get to the main part of tonight's stream, which was Sashi Cavalieri saying that Liverpool are in contact with Alexander Isak's representatives and are prepared to make an offer in the summer. Newcastle price tag, according to Sashi Cavalieri, well, according to many people to be fair, is £150 million. 150 million Great British pounds. That's just inconceivable to me that we spend that much money when we probably have 3 or 4 positions to sort out. And yes, we will recoup some money when we sell some players, but it's not worth it. As good as he is, and I don't think anybody has any doubts about the man's calibre in front of goal, allowing for his injury track record, you couldn't be dropping £150 million or anything like it on Isak. It seems crazy. Do you agree? Like 150 million, I don't think anybody is going to pay that money. Even Arsenal and the desperation stakes that they're in for a centre forward. You've got to take into consideration his injury record and think, all right, maybe we have to try and haggle this down. But don't get me wrong, I want Isak. I'm sure many of you guys and girls want Isak. I'm not at all displeased if Liverpool sign Isak, but again, I'd like it to be at a number that has some type of sense to it. Which, to be fair to Edwards and Hughes or the recruitment team, I don't expect them to pay £150 million if they do get it done. I think they'd get it done at a lower price, but it could depend on how much pressure Newcastle are under. You know, do they get Champions League football? If they do, it becomes a far tougher assignment to sign Isak for anyone. Tom, how are you, bro? Tom said Kudus still seems like a good fit and versatile. I'm not sure on Kudus, but that's just a personal preference. I think I watch him sometimes and I see it, and I see what everybody sees, and then I watch him other times and I just think, does he have the work rate to come back and defend for us in the way Arna would want? And look, I probably don't fully know the answer to that in all honesty, but I've just not seen his name really mentioned either. Look, there's a load of players that I wouldn't be displeased if Liverpool signed, and he's probably one of them. But it's hard to look at value when you see Premier League to Premier League signings these days. For instance, I've seen a few pieces today about Milos Kerkez, and a lot of the pieces were talking about a number of £40 million. I don't think that that's going to get it done for Kerkez. I think Bournemouth are going to ask for upwards of £50 million. So, you know, there's lots of high numbers being thrown around. But what we do know is, and remember from when we spoke with Mo Chatra about this, that Liverpool are known within the industry to be miserly on these things. So I don't see us going out there and going, oh, you want 150 million? Okay, let's pay it. Just doesn't seem likely. Cunha's attitude is way too much for us. We don't want to upset the dressing room. So, look, on Cunha, I feel like we're taking a big leap here. He got a really petulant red card, you know, that I don't think any manager can defend or would defend, or any fan could defend. But I don't know if he's a problem in a dressing room or not. I've never met the man. I don't know what he trains like. Obviously, he was made Wolves captain, so the manager has to have had some indication that he was a leader. You know, I never judge anybody for one rash moment and a red card, but I can see why others would have concern. But I think it's just a big leap for us to say, oh, he'd be a problem. I heard the same thing about Daniel Sturridge when Liverpool were signing him. Oh, he's a big time Charlie, oh, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't have been any further from the truth. Everybody you speak to about Studge said he was a lovely fella, was great around the club, was great with the younger players. And yes, he had injury concerns, but that's a different conversation. So I think we've got to be careful when we're talking about players' attitudes like that, especially when we really have no idea. It's not only one time, Craig. He seems to have anger issues. Also elbowed a staff member one time and his attitude seems off. Look, again, I don't know him personally. I'm not trying to dismiss any concerns. Ori, I think, you know, concerns are normal and natural. But I'm just trying to say let's not go overboard with it because, you know, Luis Suarez was a handful, but my God, what a player on the pitch he was for us. Wayne Rooney, I'm sure United fans will tell you Wayne Rooney had certainly a lot of aggression in him, but it's about trying to harness that aggression. And if you can, which United managed to do on many occasions with Rooney, if you can harness that aggression and keep it in a player's game, that can be powerful. We can't give up Núñez and Lucho for an injury-prone Isak, recipe for disaster. So again, a lot of this is hypotheticals. And I think, if you do take the risk on Isak, and as you've said, it is a risk, right? It is. The calibre of the player, brilliant. But it is a risk. I think that has to be reflected in the price tag. But maybe your opinion is, it doesn't matter what the price tag is, we need somebody who we can rely on. And I get it. There's no pushback from me on it. In fact, I had a similar stance last night. I think they're better value elsewhere. And we're going to talk about Benjamin Sesko in a while. And he has a release clause that became clear today. And we're going to talk about the numbers there as well. Benjamin said, does anybody know Isak's injury record? Just go on to... there's a couple of physio sites. Or go on to Transfermarkt and you can find it all there, my man. I don't have it to hand, but I'd imagine it's quite extensive. I think Isak will be fine with our medical team. Not many top-class strikers out there, said Chris Davies, who's with us 9 months as a member. You're right, Chris. There isn't, and that's why I guess the premium is on Isak at the minute, because you've got, in world football, Harry Kane, who's at the tail end of his career. You've got Erling Braut Haaland, who of course is at Manchester City on a ridiculously long contract. And then you've got a handful of others out there. But Isak's probably the standout one that we can see. And you got to pay a premium for that. But you've also got to take into consideration the injury record. And look, maybe you're right. Maybe our medical team could do better. But I don't want to slander Newcastle's medical team either, because I don't really understand if these issues can be managed or if perhaps it's just something that is going to have his whole career. So Charlie said, Craig, do you realistically think that Isak would sign for Liverpool over the likes of Arsenal or PSG? 100% yes. And I believe he said as much himself in the past. Like, put it this way. If you were Alexander Isak and you had an offer, and every one of these offers were the same in contract value. So, excuse me. Let's say everybody offered him 200 grand a week, just for argument's sake. And you've got Paris Saint-Germain, Arsenal and Liverpool. Realistically, taking our Liverpool bias out of it, where are you going to go to? The only argument I could sit here and make for either of the other two is the destinations. So London or Paris. But I'm not a city person, so it doesn't appeal to me personally. I'd much rather live on the outskirts somewhere in Cheshire or somewhere like that. But honestly, from a footballing perspective, it should be a no-brainer. Go play for the team that you will bang in 30 goals a season for, win a Premier League and probably a European Cup. And that answer isn't Arsenal. And Paris Saint-Germain, for all their flashiness, nobody cares about the French League. Let's be honest, they don't. It's not anything that... They struggle to get sponsors. The television revenues are terrible. Who cares about the French League? So, genuinely, yeah, I feel like if Liverpool went in with those two clubs, it should be a no-brainer. Because we're the best project. With a manager who has already shown, that he knows how to improve players. And Arteta has done a good job at Arsenal, a very good job at Arsenal. But you're going in there and all the pressure is on your shoulders. All of it. Because Arsenal have, outside of Saka, no real talisman there. But if you come into Liverpool, you've got goals all over the shop. So there's less pressure. I just think it's the best move. But I would say that, wouldn't I? I'm a Liverpool fan. Over the likes of Arsenal. Come on, mate. Well, I don't know. What is there that's better about Arsenal than Liverpool? Genuinely. You said, come on, mate. What is there that's better? They've never won a European Cup. They haven't won a league in 20 years. What's better about Arsenal than Liverpool? Nowhere near as big a club. Nowhere near as big a worldwide fan base. What is there that's the big selling point other than living in London? Which to me wouldn't be a selling point because I'm not a city dweller, like I've said. So I don't get it. Do you want to see the deserve to win meter every week? I don't know. To me, Liverpool are 10 times the club Arsenal are in every fucking way. Simple as that for me. But yeah, there you go. That's my take on it. But of course, other people are entitled to their opinions. I just don't think there's much of a pull there to go and play for Arsenal when you throw Liverpool into the mix.